Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the whole flock of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. That give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. The Most High, the Heavenly Father, his Hebrew name is Yahweh. Not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Most High, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shai, not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshua, not Yehoshua. It's Yahweh Shai. So we got to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elder bishops and elders of Great Millstone who well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, whether concepted or not. In a sense of salutation to all the ark pushing this truth and believing this truth, but the four winds of the earth, the entire world, waking up the whole for the elect. Shalom to the Akwath who are listening and learning. You few sisters who are listening and learning. I'm Isaiah from Jim Messalino Camp coming into another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification. Another day of edification, Lord, what is be edifying. So I titled this lesson, The Gathering of the Saints by the Word. And I did a lesson on this a while ago, but my spirit, this is what my spirit was on. So Lord, wouldn't it be edifying? Now I'm gonna go to this blue letter. And let me get this first. In Job, in Psalms 50, the Lord talks about gather his saints. Let me read it. Let's read it here first, as a matter of fact. So this is Psalm 50 and 5. It reads, and as elders, as apostles and elders, elder bishops and elder brothers be saying, this is not for low-level thinkers. This ain't for the faint-hearted. This for the hopeful elect. So this is Psalms 50 and 5. It reads, gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. Now, this is important to understand. It say, gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. Well, what kind of covenant and what kind of sacrifice? When you go to Exodus 24, let's read some of this. In Exodus 24, it say, you see right here the title? People affirm their covenant with God. You see? So when they say, gather my saints together, those that made a covenant with me by sacrifice. So right here say, people affirm their covenant with God. What people? This is Exodus 24 and 1. And he said unto Moses, come up unto the Lord, thou and Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, and 7 of the elders of Israel, and worship ye afar off. And Moses also shall come near Yahweh, but they shall not come near, neither shall the people go up with him. And Moses came and told the people all the words of Yahweh and all the judgments, and all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which Yahweh have said we will do. See, this is you, whether you know it or not, right now in Babylon the Great, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. You made a covenant with the Lord, man. And he said he's going to judge, he's going to show mercy unto 1,000 generations, and he's going to judge you to your face, those that hate the Lord. So when you're reading Exodus 20 and 5, it say them that love the Lord and those that hate the Lord. Because we all made a covenant with Yahweh Shema Shai in the beginning, man. Okay? So it say all the words which Yahweh have said we will do. So when it says in Psalm 50 and 5, those that made a covenant with me by sacrifice. So this is verse 4. And Moses wrote all the words of Yahweh and rose up early in the morning and built an altar unto the hill. Now here it go right here when it say, those that made a covenant with me by sacrifice. So what's Moses doing right here? He's building an altar to Yahweh, right? It's saying Moses wrote all the words of Yahweh and rose up early in the morning and built an altar unto the hill and 12 pillars for the 12 tribes, according to the 12 tribes of Israel. You see? So Moses built an altar to the Lord, right? In the midst of the 12 tribes of Israel, man. So the only one that can sacrifice to the Lord are Israelites. But again, this is not for the faint-hearted. This ain't for low-level thinkers. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto Yahweh. This don't apply to all heathen nations, man. There was no heathen here that burnt sacrifices to the Lord, man. It said, okay, it said, which offer burnt offerings and sacrifice peace offerings of oxen unto Yahweh. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in the basin, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant and read in the orders of the people, and they said, all that Yahweh have said, we will do. Right? It's like you're moving too fast. It reads, one man here. Right here, verse 8, it say, and Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which Yahweh have made with you concerning all these words. Then went up Moses and Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, and 7 of the elders of Israel, and they saw the power of Israel, and there was under his feet as it were a paid work of a sapphire stone, beautiful, and as it were the body of heaven in his clearness. And upon the nobles of the children of Israel he laid not his hand. Also they saw power and did eat and drink. And Yahweh said unto Moses, come up to me into the mount and be there, and I will give thee tables of stone and a law and commandments. So you see, you got these Christians talking about, oh, the 10 commandments. No, the Lord gave us tables of stone, right? He gave us the 10 commandments and a law. It's 613 laws and commandments, which I have written that thou mayest teach them. Okay? So, again, the title say, people affirm their covenant with power, with God, right? So when you go back to Psalms, this is important, man. This ain't for low level thinkers, man. This ain't for the faint hearted. It say Psalms 55, gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice, right? Hold on, so when you go to, let's get this right. We're gonna start here in Genesis 4. It say, and Adam knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the field, right? Which Cain and it was Esau and Jacob, which Esau selected, which Cain and Abel came back as Esau and Jacob. They tell you that Jacob was a plain man dwelling in the tents, but Esau was a cunning hunter, which means a man, a tiller of the ground. He a man of the field, right? It say, in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground and offered unto the Lord. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And Yahweh had respect unto Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain and his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And Yahweh said unto Cain, why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shall thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, Sin lieth at the door. And that's why Esau is known in 2 Thessalonians 2, the man of sin, the son of perdition. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. So it said, and Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. Why? Because of Abel, it say right here, it say, in Abel, he also bought of the firstling of the flock and of the fat thereof, and the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. So this shows you the separation. Everybody can't sacrifice to the Lord. They wasn't meant to. So again, right here, say Psalms 50 and 5, gather my saints together unto me, those that made a covenant with me by sacrifice. And this goes back to Exodus 24. Those that made a covenant with the Lord, right? So here in Genesis 8, we're going to start here. After the flood, right? The Lord chose a lineage of people to sacrifice to him. And it started with Noah. Let's read this. This is Genesis 8 and 20. It's saying Noah built an altar unto Yahweh and took of every clean beast and of every clean fowl and offered burnt offerings on the altar. You see, they start with Noah. It went down to Shem, right? Noah had three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. When you read through these lineages of the names of the Lord, or the names of Shem from Noah, the only ones that burnt offerings to the Lord, let's get the next one. This is Genesis 12. What did the Lord tell Abraham? He told him to get from his father's house, right? This is Genesis 12 and 7. Let's read the title right here. It says, Abram journeyed to Egypt, right? So this is Genesis 12 and 7, reading the point. It's a matter of fact, let's read one. Let's read it. Let's read down to 7. Now the Lord had said unto Abram, get thee out of thy father, get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred. And that's why I tell you 2 Corinthians 6 and 14, be unequally yoked together with unbelievers, right? It said, now the Lord said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee, and I will make thee of a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great. So like I just want to make sure. Okay. It say, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. Verse 4. So Abram departed as Yahweh had spoken unto him, and Lot with him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarah his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran, and they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan they came. Verse 6 said, Abraham and Abram passed through the land unto the place of Shechem, unto the plain of Moriah, and the Canaanites was them in the land. It said, this is the point. And Yahweh appeared unto Abram and said, unto thy seed will I give this land, and there built he an altar unto Yahweh, who appeared unto him. Right? And he removed from thence unto a mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west, and Hal or Hell on the east, and there he built an altar unto Yahweh, and called upon the name of the Lord. You see? Now, this is Genesis 26. Genesis 26 and 24, right? It says at the top, let me see, Salakia. So right here, just making these points. Now this is Genesis 26 and 24. Still dealing with Psalms 50 and 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that made a covenant with me by sacrifice, right? Which is what? Burnt offerings. It say, and Yahweh appeared unto him the same night and said, I am the God of Abraham, thy father. Fear not, for I am with thee, and will bless thee, and multiply thy seed for my servant Abraham's sake. And he builded an altar there and called upon the name of Yahweh and pitched his tent there, and there Isaac servants dig they well. You see, this is Genesis 35 and 1. This is dealing with those, when the Lord said, gather my saints together, those that made a sacrifice. Okay? Gather my saints together unto me, those that made a covenant with me by sacrifice. See, it's about a covenant. This is Genesis 35 and 1. Jacob moved to Bethel. Okay? It said, and God said unto Jacob, arise, go to Bethel, and dwell there, and make there an altar unto power that appeared unto thee when thou fleddest from the face of Esau thy brother. Then Jacob said unto his household and to all that were with him, put away the strange gods that are among you, just like we are among the heathen now, and be clean and change your garments. What is that? Ecclesiastes 9. So you let your garments be always white, right? Ecclesiastes 9. As a matter of fact, let me get it real quick here. I think that's Ecclesiastes 9. Let's see. It's Ecclesiastes 9 and 11, if I'm mistaken. Um, no, it's verse 8. It say Ecclesiastes 9 and 8. Let thy garments be always white, and let thy head lack no ointment. Garments being white meaning to be purified, be separated, and let your head lack no ointment, right? And that's which we got to pray to Yahweh Shema Shah for that. But it say, then Jacob said unto his household and to all that were with him, put away the strange gods that are among you, which the whole fleck did here in Babylon the Great, and be clean and change your garments. And let us arise and go up to Bethel, and I will make thee an altar unto power, who answered me in the day of my distress and was with me. You see, those that made a covenant with me by sacrifice, the Lord said in Psalms 50 and 5, it said, with me in the way which I went. And they gave unto Jacob all their strange gods, which were in their hand, and all their earrings, which were in their ears. And Jacob hid them under the oak, which was at Shechem. You say, and they journeyed, you see, and they journeyed, and the terror of power was upon the cities that were round about them, and they did not pursue after the sons of Jacob. And this is going to go back too, man. These heathens going to fall in line, man. And they're going to be terrified when they see you, Jake. So I'm going to get the point here. Jacob is named Israel. It say, and power appeared unto Jacob again when he came out of it's a Padanaram, and blessed him. And power said unto him, thy name is Jacob. Thy name shall not be any more. Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. And power said unto him, I am the power almighty, be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins. In the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac to thee, I will give it, and thy seed after thee will I give the land. So Jacob also, again, the point is, he made an altar to the Lord, man. Okay? So let's get this. Job. This is Job 1 and 1. It reads, there was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. And there was born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep and 3,000 camels and 500 yoke of oxen and 500 she asses, and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all men of the east. And his sons went and feasted in their houses, every one his day. What does it mean? They celebrate their birthdays. And sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. Thus did Job continually what? Offer burnt offerings to the Lord, man, because his kids kept sinning by celebrating birthdays. Okay, because they was in the land of Uz, living amongst these heathens, man, doing what the heathens did. So this shows you that Job wasn't no Edomite, man. It said one that feared the Lord, right? It said Job was a perfect and upright man, and one that feared God. We keep making this point, man, in Deuteronomy 20, 25. Let's read that. Oh, Salakia. I'm spelled Deuteronomy wrong. Salakia. In Deuteronomy 25 and 17, it reads this. It talks about these devils, right? The chief house of Edom. It say, remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way when ye were come forth out of Egypt, how he met thee by the way and smote the hindermost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou was faint and weary. And he, Amalek, feared not God, right? Because you got this guy watching reports and other idiots out there say that Job was an Edomite because he lived in the land of Uz. Well, it said Job feared the Lord. Now let's look at Amalek and see who this is right here. It say Amalek, dweller in a valley, son of Eliphaz by his concubine Timnah, grandson of Esau. So what would that make? What would that make Amalek a Edomite? Okay, just want to make that point. So Job sacrificed to the Lord, right? And the Lord say, gather my saints together, those that made a covenant with me by sacrifice. So when you get to Romans, when you get to the New Testament, period, and you see these letters that was written to us, right? Oh, Salakia. I didn't mean to get that chapter. Let's go back. Bear with me. I mean to get this here. Everybody love to talk about Paul this and Paul that, right? So when you go here, this is Romans 1 and 1, it reads, the gospel exalted. It's a Paul, a servant of Yahweh Shah Mashiach, called to be an apostle, separated unto the gospel of power, right? Which separated. The Lord said he severed us from other people. It said, which he had promised afore by his prophets in the Holy Scriptures. The word holy means separate. Concerning his son, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, our Lord, which was made of the seed of David according to the flesh, and declared to be the Son of God with power according to the Spirit of holiness by the resurrection from the dead. Verse 5 reads, by whom we have received grace and apostleship for obedience to the faith among all nations for his name, right? It say, among whom are ye also the called of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. It say, verse 7 is the point, to all that be in Rome, beloved of God, called to be saints, called to be saints. Grace to you and peace from power, our Father, and the Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach, right? It's a call to be saints. This is these letters here to Israel, scattered everywhere. Oh man. Okay, Salaki. It's Ephesians 1 and 1 it reads. It said, Paul an apostle of Yahweh Shah Mashiach by the will of power to the saints which are at Ephesus and to the faithful in Hamashiach Yahweh Shah. You see, these letters in the New Testament, let's get this. First Corinthians 1 and 1 it reads, Paul, called to be an apostle of Yahweh Shah Mashiach through the will of power, and Sosthenes, our brother, unto the church of power which is in Corinth, which is at Corinth, to them that are sanctified. Sanctified means set apart. And Hamashiach Yahweh Shah called to be saints, with all that in every, it say with all that in every place called upon the name of Yahweh Shah Mashiach our Lord, both theirs and ours, right? Let's get this word right here, sanctified. It's G37, right? It says
Strong's G37, Hagiadzo.
say hallowed, be holy, sanctified. To make holy, purify, to make holy, hallowed, be holy. Now, let's see here. To purify eternally by renewing of the soul, to cleanse eternally, dedicate people, consecrate things. See, to separate right here, to separate from profane things and dedicate to power. To separate. Let's go back. I read the other day in Leviticus 20 and 26, Leviticus 20 and 26, the Lord say, he have severed us from other people that we should be his. This is Galatians 1 and 1 it reads. It say, Paul an apostle, not of men, neither by man, but by Yahweh Shah Mashiach, and power the Father who raised him from the dead. It say, and all the brethren which are with me unto the churches of Galatia. Right? And we know that that word brother there mean from the same father. When you look that word up, it means from the same father. This is Colossians. Let's get this. Just going through those that made a covenant with the Lord by sacrifice. When you read in the book of Ezekiel, Ezekiel made a burnt offering to the Lord. This is Colossians 1:1. They say, Paul, an apostle of Yahweh Shah Mashiach, by the will of God, and Timothy, our brother, to the saints and faithful brethren in Hamashiach, which are at Colossus, grace be unto you and peace from power, our Father and the Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Let's look this word up right here. This word brethren right here. Brethren.
Strong's G80. Adelphos.
Now they say a brother rather born of the same two parents or only of the same father or mother. That's not what we're looking for. It's having the same national ancestry, belonging to the same people of countrymen, right? It say his brothers by blood, because we are what our father is. It say got a brother, Adelphus, the womb, and brother. So I really don't give you much, but we know what it is, because according to Numbers 1:18, we are what our father is, because the man got the seed. But it say right here, having the same national ancestry, belonging to the same people, or countrymen, right? Brethren, brother. So that ain't talking about everybody, man. But when you're dealing with this English, it throws off everything, man. So let's go to this next one here. Now this is First Thessalonians 1. So it say Paul and Silvanus, and Timothy unto the church of the Thessalonians, which is in God the Father and in the Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Grace be unto you and peace from power our Father and the Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach. We give thanks to power always for you all, making mention of you in our prayers, remembering without ceasing your work of faith and labor of love and patience of hope in our Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach, in the sight of power and Father. It's a knowing, brethren, beloved, your election of power. Election, which is the chosen, the select, elect. This is get this one. Titus. It's Titus 1:1. It reads, Paul, a servant of God and an apostle of Yahweh Shah Mashiach, according to the faith of God's elect and the acknowledging of the truth, which is after godliness. See, these letters is always like we always talk about, the apostles always going to the point of if you got kids in college and you send your kids some letters, and just because your kids don't receive the letters at that time, so if their roommates happen to pick the letters up, do the letters apply to the roommates? No. Your son or daughter gonna come back and their roommate gonna say, hey, here's some letters that was sent from your father, from your mother. It don't apply to the roommates. It say Paul, this is Philemon 1:1. It say Paul, a prisoner of Yahweh Shah Mashiach, and Timothy, our brethren, And to Philemon, our dearly beloved and fellow laborer, it say, um, and to our beloved Ophelia and Archippus, our fellow soldier, into the church in thy house, grace be to you and peace from power our Father and the Lord Yahweh Mashiach. It say, I thank my power, making mention of thee always in my prayers, hearing of thy love and faith which thou hast towards the Lord Yahweh and toward all saints. You see that the communication of thy faith may become effectual by the acknowledging of every good thing which is in you in Yahweh Mashiach. Saints, man, to the saints. So again, Psalms 55, it say, gather my saints together unto me, those that made a covenant with me by sacrifice. This is James 1 and 1. It say, James, a servant of God and of the Lord Yahweh Mashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting, my brethren, counting all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations. Okay? These letters is to the Israelites. This is First Peter's 1. It's a Peter, an apostle of Yahweh Mashiach, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia, elect according to the foreknowledge of God the Father, through sanctification of the Spirit unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood. That's in Exodus 24 when Moses sprinkled the blood on the Israelites and read the book and all of the people, and they said what? Everything that the Lord said we would do. So let's say unto obedience and sprinkling the blood of Yahweh Mashiach, grace unto you and peace be multiplied. And to tell you that in Hebrews 8 and 6, that Yahweh he made a better covenant, okay, established on better promises. So this is about these gatherings, right? This is Job. This is Job 39. It reads this. Let's start here at verse 7. So let's say, no, Job 39 and 9. Let's say, make sure. Yeah. So this Job 39 and verse 9, it say, will the unicorn be willing to serve thee or abide by thy crib? What's a unicorn? Let's look this up. And it's talking about the World Wide Web. So like it. Let's see what it got here. So they got the exact meaning is unknown, right? So they say probably great rooks or rocks or wild bulls which are now extinct. The exact meaning is unknown. So let's look up. Oh, matter of fact, hold on. Okay, so let's look up. Let's go back. Let me pull it right here on Google. Let's see what Google say. Let's see what Google say here. That's why this ain't for low-level thinkers, man. This ain't for the faint-hearted neither. So Google say A mythical animal typically represented as a horse with a single straight horn projecting from its forehead. So it's a something that is highly desirable but difficult to find or obtain, right? That's beautiful because this truth is it's a something that is highly desirable, which is truth, which is knowledge, but difficult to find or obtain, right? And this guy, Theodore Roosevelt said, a college education. Let me pull it here. No, he said a thorough knowledge of the Bible. That's what he said. That's what he said. Let's get it here. So it say Theodore Roosevelt said, a thorough knowledge of the Bible is worth more than a college education, right? So they just said for the unicorn, something that is highly desirable but difficult to find or obtain. Now, to understand this chapter, you know it's talking about something that's difficult, right? It say, will a unicorn be willing to serve thee? How can a unicorn serve you? Because a unicorn, if you know what a unicorn is mythically, it can perform your wildest dreams, right? If you're on the internet and you got the money, you can order any type of car. If you got the money to order you a Porsche or a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, whatever, it'll come to your front door tonight or tomorrow morning, first thing tomorrow morning, if you got the money. If you got the money to order any type of mansion, house, whatever, like you can get it online and move in the morning. You want to order food, right? All you gotta do is go online and put in the order at Pizza Hut, right? Or you want to order some DoorDash. This is what the unicorn is. It can perform your wildest dreams. So it say, will the unicorn be willing to serve thee or abide by thy crib? Meaning what? If you got a unicorn at your house, which is the internet, you control it. It said, will the unicorn be willing to serve thee or abide by thy crib? Look how the Lord worded this. Canst thou bind a unicorn with his band in the furrow? What's his band? The broadband, the internet. It say, let's look at this word furrow right here. See, this is how the Lord taught, man. Parables, similitudes, allegories, dark sayings. So this word here for furrow, let's play it here.
Strong's H8525. Tell him.
Now look, it's a from an unused root meaning to accumulate a bank or terrence, right? It's accumulate. Let's go back. Now, when I looked up this word accumulate, this is what it say. Accumulate. It say gather together or acquire an increasing number or quantity of. Similar words say gather, collect, assemble, stockpile, pile up, accumulate, multiply. Okay? It's a gather. Gather what? The elect. It's a gather, collect, assemble. Right? Yeah. Gather, select, gather, collect, assemble. So let's go back. Right here, say, canst thou bind a unicorn with his bands in the harrow, or will he in the furrow, or will he harrow the valleys after thee? Harrow mean to break up the ground, right? And the ground is being broken up. The valley of dry bones is being broken up, and the elect is waking up. It say, will thou trust him because his strength is great, right? You got a good signal on your Wi-Fi. You can do lessons, right? Sometimes the signal might get a little weak. It say, will thou trust him because his strength is great? Or will thou leave thy labor to him? If you put lessons up on the unicorn, on the internet, they out there in cyberspace. They out there, right? So your labor, far as doing these lessons, they out there in the universe, man, right? And they in the world wide web. It say, would thou believe him that he will bring home thy seed and gather it into thy bond? What seed? Let's look this word up here. It's talking about the elect of Israel, man. This word seed up right here. Now, what I want to do is get the Strong's. I get the root right here.
Strong's H2232. Zarah. Zarah.
You say yielding, sower, bearing, conceive, seed, right? To sow, scatter seed, producing, to become pregnant, be made pregnant. It's a seed, conceive seed, right? Plant. So when you go back here, let's go back one. Right here, it's a child, fruitful, seed time, sowing, seed sowing, offspring, semen, virile. You see? Offspring, descendants, prosperity, children. Posterity, children. It's a practitioner of righteousness. So, would a unicorn be willing to serve thee and abide by thy crib? It say, would thou trust him because his strength is great, or would thou leave thy labor to him? Would thou believe him that he would bring home thy seed and gather it into thy barn? Right? In Psalms 19 and 2, it reads this. It say, let's read one. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament show of his handiwork. What's in the firmament? What's in the heavens? The satellites, the World Wide Web. Okay, so the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament show of his handiwork. What's in the firmament? The satellites, the World Wide Web. It say day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night show of knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Hold on. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Whose voice? The apostles of Great Millstone, right? Before 2007, the truth was in New York, right? It was in New York only, right? It wasn't no other camps nowhere but in New York. But then when the apostles came on YouTube in 2007, now we got camps in Barbados, Peru, Haiti, Jamaica, right? We got camps in Canada. There's camps we got a GMS Bolivia, man. You got a GMS Italy, okay, which is in Rome. What Paul went at when I read in Rome, it say to the saints in Rome, right? That brother over there in Italy, what is that? That's in Rome. It's nothing new. It's the same thing over, man. So, real quick in Isaiah 30 and 20, I love to read this in this manner. Isaiah 30 and 20 reads, and though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. Before 2007, we didn't see our teachers. We didn't see the apostles of Great Millstone because they wasn't on YouTube. Okay. So after 2007, we saw our teachers. It say, and though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore. So New York was that corner, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. You see? So New York was that corner for a period of time. Then YouTube came up and the apostle got on YouTube. It said, there is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. This truth is going through the four corners of the earth. We got brothers in London, got camps in London, okay? Camps in Barbados. It say their line is going out through all the earth. What line? This internet line. And their words to the end of the world. In them have he set a tabernacle for the sun. In them have he set, which is the truth, a tabernacle for the sun. Meaning the truth is shining and gathering the elect. Tabernacle, the house of David that's being built for the sun, which is the truth that's shining throughout the four corners of the earth, man. That's being pushed everywhere. Let's get this one in Romans. This is Romans 10. Let's get this here. It's Romans 10 and 13. It reads, for whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord, Yahweh shall be saved. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? Everybody knew Jesus Christ, right? Everybody been calling on Jesus Christ, Yahweh, Jehovah, God, Elohim, Yahshua, Yeshua, Yeshaya, Ahia. Everybody been calling these names. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? We know, hey, everybody heard about Jesus Christ. Okay? Everybody. It say, and how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? We never heard about Yahweh Shema Shah. And how shall they hear without a preacher? Right? And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. Now, down here in verse 18 is a precept backing up Psalms 19 and 2. It say, but I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily, their sound went into all the earth, and their words unto the ends of the world. Who? The apostles of Great Millstone, man. But I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily, their sound went into all the earth, and their words into the ends of the world, man. Through what? The unicorn that's gathering thy seed into the bun, man. So here, in Isaiah 34, and 16, it reads this. Seek ye out of the book of Yahweh and read. No one of these shall fail, meaning the prophecies. None shall want her mate, meaning there's no other book that you can compare to the Bible. No other book. For my mouth it have commanded, and his spirit it have gathered them. You see? So the elect is being gathered by the words of Yahweh Shem Abashai throughout the four corners of the earth. So I got two more precepts I want to read here. This is Matthew 24 and 29, right? It reads, it said, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory, which is the chariots that these devils, these dummies call UFOs or spaceships, where they say UFOs, unidentified flying objects. Well, they are IFOs to us because we know what they are. They are identified. We know they chariots. So it say, and he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they, who the angels, shall gather together his elect from being, because they being gathered not by the words of the Lord, but the angels are going to come in and grab them each one, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other, right? When you go to Zechariah 2 and 6, it reads this. Remember, it said his angels are going to gather the elect from the four from the four winds, right? This is Zechariah 2 and 6. It reads, ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north, which is spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. That's what we're doing now. Saith Yahweh, For I have spread you abroad as the four winds of heaven. You see, he scattered us, saith Yahweh. Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon, which is the Edomites. Okay? So, when it said the Lord in Matthew 24, the Lord is going to send his angels, and he shall gather together his elect from the four winds. Okay? This is Isaiah 45 and 4. This is who's being gathered, man. Isaiah 45 in verse 4 reads, For Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect, I have even called thee by thy name, I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me. You see? So the angels is gathering who? The elect. The elect from the four winds. That's who's being gathered, man. So, the Lord was edifying. Gotta give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rekah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops and elders of great millstone who rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, ready to accept it or not, and a sincere salutation to all the Akim, pushing the truth and believing the truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, waking up the whole elect. And shalom to the Akwath who are listening and learning, you few sisters who are listening and learning. Lord was edifying. Till next time I say shalom. Wah, bah, bah, bah. I'm gonna read this brother precept. This is but young Yashala put up Baruch 4 and 36. O Jerusalem, look about thee towards the east, and behold the joy that cometh unto thee from power. It says, verse 37, Lo, thy sons come, with whom thou sentest away. They come gathered together from the east to the west by the word of the Lord, by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of power. That's beautiful, brother. Now I got to read this. Now you done sent me back. Let me get this. Because it said we're going to come from the four winds. So let's get this real quick in the blue letter. In Isaiah, let me see. I think it's 43. Let me get this. Might as well. See, yeah, Kala Yabashima Shah. So this Isaiah 43. Let's read one. See, Israel redeemed, you dummies out there talking about, oh, Deuteronomy 28 and 68 say you shall be sold to your enemy, but no man shall buy you. You dumb niggas. But now thus saith Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. Future prophecy, man. We just waiting. That's why I tell you in Revelations 3 and 10, Revelation 3 and 11, hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. All we gotta do is endure to the end, man. All we gotta do is endure, man. Pray to Yahweh Shema Shah to strengthen your wisdom, to strengthen you in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and to increase your strength to endure to the end, man. This is all we gotta do. Our Lord requires. Oh, see, now I forgot about when it said, "Gather my saints together." Those that made a covenant with me by sacrifice. What's the sacrifice today? Romans 12 and 1. Present our bodies a living sacrifice. That was one of the precepts I had. I didn't read it. So it say, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee. And though it's saying through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, that shall not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. And that's why I tell you in Isaiah 24 and 15, glorify ye the Lord through the fires. And that's what was that, Revelations 11 and 13. Man, my spirit done turned all the way back up. Let me get this. In Revelations 11 and 13, it say, let's read 12. It say, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither, and they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, meaning the elect went up into a chariot, a gigantic chariot, and you saw it on Independence Day. They showed you in the movie Independence Day. And their enemies beheld them, because the enemy's gonna see these elect get beaten up into these chariots. It say in the same hour was there a great earthquake from the missiles, and the 10th part of the city fell. North America, okay, 10 FEMA zones. Also, every state in America from 0 to 9 have a zip code and an area code from 0 to 9. That's 10 numbers. It say this is the point. It said an earthquake was slain of men 7,000, which is 7 completion, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to God of heaven. Why was they affrighted? Because as I tell you, when they gotta read it, First Peter 4:17 reads, "For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of God, and if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of God? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, what shall the ungodly and sinners appear?" So in the tell you in Revelation 11, and the remnant were frightened and gave glory to the Lord because they was scarcely saved, man. Let's get this in Isaiah 24. Isaiah 24:15 reads, "Wherefore glorify ye the Lord in the fires, even the name of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah, power of Israel in the islands, in the isles of the sea," man. Meaning in the midst of the people. We glorifying the Lord in the opening, man. Hey, so it say, "When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. For I am the Lord Yahweh thy God, the Holy One of Israel, thy Savior. I gave Egypt for thy ransom," which we know that happened, right? He destroyed those Egyptians. "Ethiopia and Seba for thee, since thou was precious in my sight, thou hast been honorable, and I have loved thee. Therefore will I give men for thee, and people for thy life." Verse 6, "Fear not, for I am with thee. I will bring thy seed from the east and gather them from the west." You see, the unicorn is gathering the seed. "I will bring thy seed from the east and gather them from the west. I will say to the north," we hear in the north, "give up," and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far and my daughters from the ends of the earth. You see? Oh, you see right here when it say, Israel is God witnesses. So when you read about the two witnesses in Revelation, it's talking about the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom, man. Israel is God witnesses. You see? Israel is God witnesses, man. So those two witnesses that people read about, tell me, oh, that might be Moses and Elijah. No, that's the northern and southern kingdom back together again. So I got to get one more here. I think it's Psalms 103. Let me see here. Maybe it's Psalms 105. Let's check. One more here I want to get. No, it may be Psalms. Hold on, let me get this. It may be 107. Let me get it from my phone. Bear with me. There's another one I like to read in Psalms. Yeah, this is Psalms. Yeah, beautiful. Kala Yahbashima Shah. Let me pull it up here. So this is Psalms 107. See, man, and man, the Lord said it in Deuteronomy 30:1, man. He said in the land, which I'm going to read it. It say, this is Psalm 107:1. It say, "Oh, give thanks unto Yahweh, for he is good, for his mercy endure forever. Let the redeemed of Yahweh say so." It say, "Whom he have redeemed from the hand of the enemy and gathered them out of the lands from the east and from the west, from the north and from the south." So when you read in Matthew 24:31, When it say the Lord shall gather his elect from the four winds, man. Let's go back to it, man. It's beautiful, man. Beautiful, man. This is the Lord gathering his elect. Hey, throw out for that precept in Baruch, brother, because you just stirred up my spirit. So it say right here, Matthew 24 and 31. And he shall send his angel with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Earth is a heaven. Okay? That's why it's called the white man's heaven and the black man's hell, man. And I read Zechariah. Let's read it again. Because it said right there, the four winds, man, meaning earth. Okay, we have been scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, man. The Lord is only gathering Israelites, man. He don't care about these heathens. Ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north, saith Yahweh, for I have spread you abroad as the four winds. You see? Yeah. So in Deuteronomy, I got to read this now. Deuteronomy. Salakia. Let's get let's go here. So this Deuteronomy 30 and 1, they say, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse. See, this is the Lord already telling us that these things are going to happen to us. And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whether the Lord thy God have driven thee, and shall return unto the Lord thy God, and shall obey his voice, according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children. It said, with all thy heart and with all thy soul, right? Verse 3, that it say that then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations where the Lord thy God have scattered thee. You see? Yeah, man. So in closing, in Romans, I meant to read this earlier, because this is one of those when they say gather my saints together, those that made a covenant with me by sacrifice. The new sacrifice now is not burnt offerings. It's present your body as a living sacrifice. Romans 12 and 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of power, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto power, which is your reasonable service. This is our reasonable service, to stand in the highways and hedges and bid our people to the marriage. The Lord said it. Yahweh said it in Luke 14. Luke 14, verse 16 through 23. Matthew 22. We're supposed to go to the highways and hedges. Okay? Proverbs 8. Even Solomon said it in Song of Solomon chapter 3, verse 1 through 4, man. We're supposed to go to the highways and hedges and present our body as a living sacrifice, man. The men. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto power, which is your reasonable service. I got to get this. In Luke 19 and 10, it reads this. I'm going to let this be my last precept. This is our reasonable service, man. Luke 19, Salakia. I'm sorry. Wrong chapter. That's beautiful too, because that talks about, for they say, for the Son of Man came to seek and save that which was lost. So Luke 17 and 10 reads, oh, now my internet want to act up. What the hell done happened now? Hold on, bear with me here, man. These devils, man. Okay, Salakia. Okay, so this is Luke 17 and 10. It say, so likewise, ye, when you shall have done all those things which are commanded you. What was commanded us? To go out to the highways and hedges. It say we are unprofitable servants. We have done that which is our duty to do. Okay, and when you go and read Luke 14, verse 16 through 23, the Lord commanded his men to go to the highways and hedges, and in Matthew 22, okay, to go to the highways and hedges, man, and bid our people to the merit. Oh, I thought I had it on the screen. Well, I was reading it anyway, so like, oh, I do got it on the screen. Okay, I'm tripping. So yeah, so Lord willing is edifying, man. Yeah, the water for that precept, brother. I guess the spirit want me to bring them out too. So until next time, I say shalom. Wa the wa for tuning in. May Yahweh Shema shall continue to bless you in your houses. Stay prayed up. The water for your precepts. The water.